Something went bump in the night, and James got out of bed to see what it was. So he looked out the window, and there, across the street, a car had slammed into a light pole and was on fire. He woke his wife up and had her call 911, while he pulled on his pants and ran over to where the driver was on fire and couldn't get out of his seatbelt.
As I ran out the door and I was coming up to the car, somebody had gotten out of the rear far seat, and they were kind of stumbling out in front of the car. And I was like, where's the driver? Where's the driver? Is anybody in the car? And he just didn't even say anything, like he was totally out of it. And then at that time, somebody else opened up the front right door, and they got out, and I was like, where's the driver? Where's the driver? Are you the driver? Who's left in the car? Is everybody out? And he didn't say anything, and so I guess my brain just knew that somebody was still left in the car, even though I didn't really know for sure because I couldn't see in it, and the windows were tinted, and it was smoky inside, so I couldn't even see inside the car. But at that point, I grabbed my flashlight from my pocket, and I hit the window, hit it 2 or 3 times really, really hard, and it wasn't breaking. And I hit it as hard as I possibly could, and then the window broke. And it was laminated because of the tinting, so it all broke in one piece, and I just grabbed the piece and pulled it out, and that's when I got my first look at the driver. And he was in some pain, and his legs were on fire.
Is the vehicle on fire?
Yes, it is.
911, how may I help you?
We need help out. Right now there's a bad wreck on the corner of McLaughlin Boulevard and Grand, and there's something on fire in the car. There's people trying to get him out. He's on fire.
Is he still in the car or is he out?
Yes, and he's on fire. He's on fire. They can't get him out of the car. I don't want to stand here. This car is going to blow up, ma'am. I don't know what to do. This car is going to blow up. The whole car is completely engulfed, and it's going to burn the house.
Oh my God.
We've already got a call on it, thank you.
So I tried to open the door, and it wouldn't open. And so I told the guy, let's try to open it together, 1, 2, 3, pull, and we tried to pull the door open, but it wouldn't open. And so I pulled out my knife and opened it and gave it to him and said, here, cut him out. I'm going to get my fire extinguisher, just cut him out, I'll be right back. And so I had already hollered for Mindy, my wife, to get the fire extinguisher that I had just brought home 2 weeks prior. I sprayed it around his legs and it put out the flames, but they came right back, and they had cut his shoulder belt, and they were trying to pull him out, the other 2 guys, and he just wasn't coming out, and at that point I was like, am I going to come all this way just to watch him die? Are we going to be able to get him out or not? And that's when I saw his lap belt was still on, and it was pulled completely tight, and they were pulling him, trying to get him out of the window, and he was just screaming, and his lap belt was tight, and I'm like, where's my knife? I need to cut his belt. And they're like, we already cut it, just pull. And I'm like, no, he still has the belt on, I need to cut it. Where's my knife? Because I had given them my knife and I didn't have it, I didn't know where it was, and they didn't say anything, they just kept trying to get him out. And so I was like, what am I going to do? So I actually reached in my pocket again and pulled out a little Leatherman. I have a little tiny keychain Leatherman multi-tool, and I pulled it out, and it has a 2-inch knife on it. And then I cut the lap belt, and then we all 3 pulled him out of the car. And it was so dark, I couldn't see how bad he was. I knew he was burned really bad, but I didn't know that it was that bad. I had no idea. We just had pulled him to the other side of the street, and he was just laying there and screaming, and he was in a lot of pain. And when we had pulled him out of the car, his legs were still on fire, and we had to put that out, and then we drug him away.
The flames were so hot once the car crashed into this pole, it actually melted the crosswalk signal.
There was a couple of small explosions after we had pulled him out, pretty much right after we pulled him out and were dragging him away.
911, how can I help you?
There's a car that's on fire, and the guy's pulling him out. He was on fire when they pulled him out. So
He was on fire when they pulled him out?
yeah, he was caught on fire.
Is he still on fire?
No.
And all of it took about 3 minutes. And by that time, there was a police officer there shortly after we had pulled him out. we stayed up for a little while and just watched some TV to help get my mind off of it, and just tried to relax, you know, because I was really worked up and I was shaking really bad. And he was in a medically induced coma for, I think, about 5 weeks afterwards. So he was totally sedated. I know he's had multiple surgeries, and he's had his right foot amputated. His mom definitely kept us up to date in Facebook, and so she stopped by and she actually gave me a shirt that has a Superman logo on the front and my name on the back. So she said that I was her hero. And